What's good, everybody? BDJ here. Appreciate you guys tuning into the video on the LTQ Wrestling Podcast. Going to be talking about Friday Night Smackdown, the main event, Solo Sikoa against Jimmy Uso, brother versus brother. Solid match. Wasn't a five-star classic or anything, but we don't expect it to be. It doesn't have to be. It's more about the story with this type of match. And Solo and Jimmy, told the story well. But it ends up ending. Jimmy Uso hits the super kick, goes to the top rope. The referee's back's turned. Jacob Fatu pulls him down, and then Solo picks him up off the top rope, hits a Samoan spike for the 1, 2, 3. Now, in my opinion, this is a much needed win for Solo. I know there's an argument of like, Jimmy just came back. Why can't he pick up a win? But let's be honest. We know what they're setting up. New Bloodline versus the original Bloodline. I do think the original Bloodline is going to pick up the win in the WarGames. So it'd be smart to have Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo stack up some wins. That way, when they lose at the WarGames match, it's not really that big of a deal compared to if they were just losing all the matches from now till Survivor Series. So it makes sense that Solo got this win. They beat up Jimmy for a little bit. Out comes the OTC, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Huge pop as always. He throws Jacob Fatu into the barricade, hits some Superman punches. Him and Solo have a stare down for a big pop. And then the rest of the newer Bloodline get up, attack Roman Reigns, and he gets beat down and Samoan spiked by Solo Sikoa. So this was really made to make it look like Reigns and Jimmy need more help. And obviously they do. And the fans already knew who they were wanting to chant for. They were chanting Yeet, Yeet, Yeet. They wanted Jay to come out there. It didn't happen. But this is also a way to make the newer Bloodline look like they stand a chance, because I know they obviously had the numbers game and everything, but like I said, they got to get some momentum going in the WarGames, because they've really been taking a lot of losses. And they've really just been a mule to these guys. I mean, they've just been getting beat up week after week after week by Reigns and just, Cody and everybody. So it's good to get them some momentum here. Jay will eventually, I think, join them. I don't really know who else would. It's going to be curious to see who the fourth is. Is it going to be Cody? Is it going to be Sami Zayn? Going to have to see what that. Sami is done with the Gunther feud, so he's available. Is Cody moving on to the KO feud? I do think Sami Zayn makes a lot of sense. Maybe him and Jay come over from Raw, help out Jimmy and Roman, and that's how we get the new versus old Bloodline. I think that would be a really fire match. But I mean, this story has so many layers to it that you could really do so many different scenarios, and really a lot of fans wouldn't be mad. But Roman Reigns is back. It's good to see him back. You obviously got The Rock involved. You obviously got Cody still lurking, but he's involved in his own story now. If it was me and I was booking that match, I would have Jay, Jimmy, Reigns, and Sami, because that's the original Bloodline. I know Solo was in it, but obviously he's a heel now, against Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa. I think from a storyline perspective and everything these groups have been through as a group or against one another, Sami being involved makes a whole lot of sense. So hopefully that's the direction WWE goes. And even if they do put Cody in, I'm not really mad about that either, because he's been connected with this whole Bloodline story as well. So we'll have to see what they do. I think there's a lot of different directions. I did think this SmackDown, wasn't the best SmackDown, but it didn't have to be. I mean, can't expect every single show to be a banger. I did think there were some good moments, but the main event wasn't horrible. I thought it was only going to be like maybe a 10-minute match. About got 15, 20 minutes, and they put on a good show. So obviously, with Jay being Intercontinental Champion, he's not going to be able to defend the title if he's in the WarGames. I think that's okay. Maybe give some of the other championships some time on that pay-per-view if they have the spots for him, because I feel like, the tag titles haven't really gotten a lot of love, even though Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are also in the WarGames. I do feel like maybe Finn and JD McDonough can defend the Raw tag team titles, or have the women's tag titles defended, even though they were defended tonight. But just have different titles that haven't really gotten a lot of love get a match while Jay is in the WarGames. I think that would be the best case scenario. But listen, I've had nothing but love for this Bloodline story. There's still a lot to go. Paul Heyman still hasn't made his return yet. We haven't had Reigns against Jacob Fatu yet. There's a lot of different scenarios. Reigns against Solo Sikoa. How's Jimmy and Jay? How are they going to write on, them working together again? Are they going to have, a bonding moment? Is there going to be still a little tension between the two? Because they had a big-time rivalry at WrestleMania. Obviously, the match was a letdown. But that's what's so good about this story. That's what's so good about the Judgment Day story. Even though the Judgment Day story has lost a little bit of the hotness it had in the beginning, it's still a lot of layers of that as well. So if you're a fan of stories, this Bloodline story is obviously for you. And there's so many layers like Paul Heyman said, we're only like the third inning. I think we're probably in the 6th or 7th now, if we're even there yet. So we'll have to see. But what do you guys think about this main event? And what would you guys choose to do with the WarGames match if you guys had to book it? Let me know in the comments. Peace.